Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you are watching this right now, then I already know what kind of person you are. You are the kind of person who does not just watch things happen, you want to understand them. You want to know why something hit the way it did, what was actually going on beneath the surface, and what it means for everything that comes next. And today, we are talking about one of the most historic nights in the history of K-pop, one of the most emotional public moments Korea has seen in years, and specifically, we are talking about what one Park Jungkook did on that stage at Gwanghwamun Square on the night of March 21, 2026, that sent the entire internet into an absolute frenzy. Because if you think this was just another concert, you have not been paying attention. This was something else entirely. Let's get into it. First, let me paint the picture for you, because context is everything. BTS had been on hiatus for nearly 4 years. 4 years. In pop music terms, that is a lifetime. Artists come and go, trends shift, entire genres rise and fall. And yet, from the moment it was announced that BTS would be returning with their 5th studio album Arirang and performing live at Gwanghwamun Square, the anticipation was unlike anything the music world had seen in a very long time. This was not just a comeback. This was a resurrection. 7 men, all having completed South Korea's mandatory military service, all having spent years building their solo careers and their individual identities as artists, coming back together as a unit and performing as BTS again for the first time in years. At the heart of BTS Comeback was a free, public concert in Seoul, with only 22,000 receiving the golden ticket to attend, while the event was expected to attract as many as 260,000 fans, making it the largest ever public concert in South Korea. Let that number sit with you for a second. 250,000 people in the streets of Seoul for one concert. That is not a fan event. That is a national moment. The choice to stage the comeback performance in front of Gwanghwamun, the main gate and historic entryway to Seoul's Gyeongbokgung Palace, was no coincidence, as the new album is in many ways a meditation on identity and belonging. This was BTS planting their flag in the most symbolically significant public space in their home country and saying, "We are back, and we are more ourselves than we have ever been." And the visual of 7 men standing in front of that ancient gate, with the lights of modern Seoul blazing behind them, was already one of the most striking images of 2026 before a single note had even been played. The 7 members of BTS appeared on stage against the iconic backdrop of Gwanghwamun, dressed in striking black and white outfits. Opening the show, RM greeted the audience with "Hello. We are back." And those 4 words, "We are back," unleashed something in that crowd that is genuinely hard to describe if you were not there. Videos from the audience show the exact moment RM said those words, and you can literally see the wave of emotion travel through the crowd like a physical thing. People screaming, people crying, people holding each other. And then the music started. The group kicked off with Body to Body, delivering a powerful and energetic performance. And it was in this opening stretch of the concert that Jungkook immediately established himself as the focal point of the night. Now, let me be very clear about something. Every single member of BTS had their moment on that stage. This was a group comeback, and every one of those 7 men showed up fully and gave everything they had. But there is a reason why Jungkook's specific moments from that night spread faster and further than almost anything else that happened on that stage. And it is not just because he is Jungkook, although that certainly does not hurt. It is because of the specific, precise way he performed, the things he said, and the moments he created that felt almost cinematic in their emotional impact. Let's talk about each of those moments individually, because they each deserve their own conversation. The first moment that went absolutely everywhere was during the performance of Swim, the title track of the Arirang album. Netflix teased the performance of Swim since its release on Friday, and the crowd expectantly erupted, marking one of the night's highlights. This was the first time these songs had ever been performed live. Nobody in that crowd had ever heard this music in a live setting before. And when the opening notes of Swim began, the energy in Gwanghwamun Square shifted into something almost sacred. And Jungkook, standing on that stage with the backdrop of Gyeongbokgung Palace behind him, delivered a vocal performance that people are still talking about days later. The restraint in his voice, the control, the way he built through the song and then opened up in the moments that demanded it. Fans who watched through the Netflix livestream from around the world were saying it was the best live vocal performance of his career. That is not a small claim for a man who has been singing professionally since he was 15 years old. But what made the moment go truly viral was not just the singing. It was what happened in the in-between moments. There are clips that have now been shared millions of times showing Jungkook during Swim just standing still for a beat, looking out at the crowd of hundreds of thousands of people, and his expression shifting from composure to something raw and undone, just for a second. Just a flash. And then he pulled it back together and kept performing. That flash of genuine emotion, caught by the cameras and broadcast to the world on Netflix in crystal clear high definition, became one of the defining images of the entire night. Because it was real. You cannot fake that. That was a person who had spent 4 years away from this, who had gone through military service, who had missed performing more than he could probably articulate, and who was standing on the biggest stage of his career looking out at hundreds of thousands of people who never stopped waiting for him. And for just a moment, it all hit him at once. And the whole world saw it happen. Jungkook said backstage, "I don't think I will ever forget tonight. I felt pressure and fear about the comeback, but standing here with you just feels amazing." That quote circulated everywhere within minutes of being reported. Because it was so genuine, so specific, so exactly what people had been feeling on behalf of him and on behalf of all of BTS throughout the hiatus. He was scared. He felt pressure. And he got up on that stage in front of 250,000 people and performed anyway. And the performance was extraordinary. That is the full arc of that story, and it is one of the most compelling human stories you can tell: fear, courage, and the decision to show up anyway. Then there was the mic drop moment. Mic drop sparked the loudest reaction of the night, with fans chanting along and some mirroring the group's choreography. And within mic drop, Jungkook's specific moments, his vocal runs, his stage presence, the way he commanded his section of that enormous stage, were the clips that spread fastest across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Fan edit accounts had content up within minutes. People who had never watched a BTS performance before were sharing the clips and asking who the one in the center was. And of course, the answer was Jungkook. It is always Jungkook. Not because he is trying to be the center, but because he has this gravitational quality as a performer where your eyes go to him even when you are not consciously directing them there. It is something that cannot be taught and cannot be manufactured. It is just who he is on stage. There was also something incredibly moving about the moment before the performance when Jungkook said, "Since this is our first time performing the songs from our new album, I feel a bit nervous. But it's also really exciting and everything feels very new. It's been such a long time, it feels thrilling." That admission of nerves, delivered with that particular combination of vulnerability and excitement that is so uniquely Jungkook, that was the moment that a lot of fans pointed to as the most human and relatable thing they had seen all night. Because here is one of the most famous performers on the planet, someone who has performed in stadiums across the world, someone who has sold out arenas in multiple continents, and he is standing there telling a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people that he is nervous. That he is excited. That everything feels new. That honesty, that willingness to be a real person in front of an enormous audience rather than a polished and untouchable celebrity, that is what separates Jungkook from a lot of performers at his level. And I want to talk about the Netflix broadcast specifically, because it added a layer to this entire night that made Jungkook's moments hit even harder for the global audience. The live stream let viewers at home hear the men of BTS in crystal clear high-quality audio. But the sound on the ground in Central Seoul was also truly impressive, with the band's voices booming and echoing through Gwanghwamun Square. The production quality of the Netflix broadcast was absolutely cinematic. The camera work, the switching, the way they captured the individual members during their key moments, it felt like watching a concert film that had been meticulously produced, except it was happening live, in real time. And the cameras caught Jungkook in a way that made every single one of his moments feel like a scene from a movie. The close-ups during Swim, the wide shots of him during mic drop, the candid camera catches between songs where you could see him breathing, adjusting, looking at the crowd, every frame was perfect. The closing moments of the concert were also something that people could not stop talking about. The free concert is BTS' first performance in nearly 4 years. The members thanked fans for their support and closed their performance with 2019's Microcosmos. And Microcosmos, if you know your BTS history, is one of the most emotionally significant songs in their entire catalog. It is a song about finding meaning and light in individual people, about the way every single person in a crowd carries their own universe inside them. Ending the concert with that song, after everything that had been said and felt and experienced that night, was a choice that hit like a freight train. And during Microcosmos, the clips of Jungkook that circulated most widely were the ones where he was facing the audience, not performing for them, but genuinely connecting with them, eyes moving through the crowd, expression open and full, like he was trying to memorize every face he could see. The reaction from around the world was immediate and overwhelming. Cultural analyst Hyejin Lee, clinical associate professor at USC Annenberg School, called it the comeback of the century and noted, "This is the first time in a while we have seen BTS as a group performing." Media coverage came from every major outlet on the planet. Rolling Stone, CNN, The Hollywood Reporter, Billboard, everyone was writing about this night. And within all of that coverage, Jungkook was consistently mentioned as one of the standout performers of the evening. Not just by fan accounts, but by professional music journalists who cover the global music industry for a living. Economic analyst Kim Yoo-hyuk estimated BTS Comeback would generate at least 2.9 trillion Korean won, about $1.93 billion, a figure that could potentially rival Taylor Swift's $2 billion Eras Tour earnings. And while those numbers are staggering and important for understanding the scale of what BTS has built, what they cannot capture is the human dimension of this night. The person who cried in the fenced-off golden ticket section holding a light stick they had carried for 4 years. The fan watching on Netflix from a country BTS has never visited, feeling like they were in that crowd. The person who introduced their younger sibling to BTS for the first time by watching the live stream together. Those are the moments that Jungkook's performance was a part of. Those are the moments that his stage presence, his emotion, his honesty, and his extraordinary talent helped create. And those moments are the ones that do not show up in any financial projection but are ultimately the reason why any of this matters. So where does this leave Jungkook, and where does it leave BTS? Heading into a world tour of 82 shows across 34 cities in 23 countries, with every ticket already sold out. Heading into a Tonight Show appearance. Heading into what every analyst and commentator is calling a second heyday that could be even bigger than the first. And heading into all of that with a performance at Gwanghwamun that has already become legendary, a performance that showed, without any doubt, that the wait was worth it and that Jungkook on a live stage in 2026 is something the world is not fully prepared to handle. This is the kind of moment that defines careers and defines eras. And we all got to watch it happen in real time. If you are a fan, this is your moment. If you are new to BTS and you found your way here through a clip you saw somewhere, welcome. You picked an incredible time to start paying attention. There is so much more coming. The world tour alone is going to give us content and moments for the next year. And I will be here for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button because it genuinely makes a difference for this channel and helps us reach more people who care about this as much as we do. Subscribe if you have not already. There is going to be so much more BTS and Jungkook content coming very soon because we are in the middle of one of the most exciting stretches in K-pop history and I am not about to slow down. Hit the bell so you never miss a thing. And drop a comment below, what was your favorite Jungkook moment from the Gwanghwamun concert? I want to know. I will see you in the next one.